Good evening, campers. Today we are going to be talking about the greatest Welsh novel published, and that is CARADOG Pritchard's One Moonlit Night. First published in 1961, this has been translated into the English by Philip Mitchell. Now, CARADOG Pritchard, although his greatest work is One Moonlit Night, he is a renowned Welsh poet, so much so that he won the Eisteddfod 3 times and was then to obtain the chair. Aware that the majority of my audience are international, so winning the Eisteddfod might not mean anything. Think of winning the Eisteddfod as the equivalent of winning the Nobel laureate in Wales. This is a big deal, and Pritchard's poems exemplified what it is to be Welsh, Welsh language, Welsh culture, and Welsh tradition, and all these would turn into the magnum opus that is One Moonlit Night. A lot of people, being Welsh myself, think of Wales as a very romantic country. They look at all the luscious greenery, they look at the sublime mountains, are absolutely swooned. The want to encapsulate that romantic essence of Wales was done by the romantic poets, the Lake School, Coleridge and Wordsworth, and English people have always come in and seen it as this beautiful, luscious, almost mythical place. Here the romanticization of the landscape almost neglects the people living there. Wales's history is not one short of poverty, trauma and hardship. Pritchard's work I can see as an antithesis to these romantic notions. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that Pritchard, being a Welsh speaker and moving into journalism, only wrote One Moonlit Night once he decided to live in London and recall back the days of his childhood to talk about the autobiographical moment of his life, his relationship with his mother within this book. Slim though it may be, it is a triumph. There is nothing truly like this within the Welsh literary scene, be that in its English translation or in the original Welsh. One Moonlit Night, like the imagery that title provides us, is dark. That it's short of harrowing. We as the readers are invited through the eyes of a child to witness suicide, domestic abuse, rape, but we realise that this isn't happening on one moonlit night. This is happening every night as our child protagonist, who has no names, alongside his buddies Hugh and Moy, seek to stay up under the moon to see what the adults who should have control, who should be able to advise of what their life should pan out to be, descend into chaos, descend into normality. And the normality for the villagers of One Moonlit Night is heartbreaking, though this is evidently set within Pritchard's hometown of Bethesda, a quarry town up in North Wales. It is only named the village, although all of the other village names are real that are surrounding Bethesda, but this is the village. Pritchard isn't claiming that Bethesda is the only place where this happens. He sees this as a Welsh problem. The history of Wales and the hard-working people of Wales have always had a struggle between exile, moving out of Wales, or sadly, suicide. Suicide and death and the want to commit suicide is something that plagued Pritchard, but it's something that plagues the villagers of One Moonlit Night. We see people toy with death. We see people with bread knives and shanks blazing to each other, only for in 10 minutes time they are sitting down eating bread and butter. That is the only nourishment that they can get, the bare minimum. There's a want to see the adult engage in horrendous acts. This child wants bread more than anything else. Any scraps, any crumbs that he can get his hands on is almost a religious experience in himself, so much so that there's a literal interpretation of the Bible, seeing the chorus, seeing the community come together to strive towards that interpretation that he has proposed upon the text, makes you understand that everyone here is rooted together. Everyone here shares and everyone takes. There is a sense of community that is really encapsulated throughout. There's an aspect within the community as our own troubles are their troubles. The young boy who has to deal with his mother's mental breakdown throughout these episodic events within One Moonlit Night just emphasise that it is his burden, it is the community's burden to bear. It is not an isolated incident. There's always a want for something greater, but it shows that the village community here are using the conventions of religion is not to show that they are religious, but it allows them to engage with one another. There's a place where clacks, where gossip can divulge, where people are trying to act normal. They play the facade that everything is okay, that they are well put together, that they're keeping up with the Joneses and the Davises, but everyone knows that they're not. The kid himself is seeking for something greater. O Queen of the Black Lake, O Queen of Snowdon. There is a magic realism that just permeates this text in the most wonderful, lyrical, simplistic way. Again, all counteracts this romantic view. I've always said this, that sometimes the most simplistic of books can be the most profound, can be the most illuminated, can tell us something about the truth more so than the truth of the matter could ever deem to. One Moonlit Night is the great Welsh novel because it's not afraid to show the struggles of the Welsh people. It is not afraid to show how community, no matter how strong, no matter how connective, will ultimately fray. It is not afraid to say that Welsh people are more focused to move in elsewhere than to stay where they are, to uproot themselves for the hopes of something better. Resounded 9 out of 10. This novel swoons, it sways over the macabre and the malign. There is something within this that makes the stones sing. The stones that is breaking the backs of the community. The stones that have given Bethesda its name. This quarry, this town, and these people, although will be used to build the foundation of Britain, will come asunder to it.